calling everybody? I'm the big guy. Welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. There will be none before me, there will be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only best there is, best there was, the best ever will be, Jacoby. And welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got a Money in the Bank stack show for you this week. We got the news of the week followed by your Smackdown review, then going into a review of Money in the Bank. Follow that up with a review of Raw. And then, of course, we are getting ready into SummerSlam season, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, SummerSlam season. It's only about, try to do the math in my head, 25 days away. So, we have SummerSlam already creeping up on the corner. As we know, there will be no pay-per-view in August. So, we have to get in a big one this month. So let's get into your news of the week. We also have a drink of the week. We do not have a reading for the Book of Rules this week, as I am away. I am recording this in my vacation. My family decided to rent a vacation house for this week, so I am away. I forgot to pack the Book of Rules, the one thing I really need. Yeah, so sorry about that, but we still have everything else, and we're gonna just enjoy this podcast. So let's get into the news this week as Big E has given us an update as to his broken neck. For those of you who don't remember, Big E suffered a broken neck after fighting the Brawling Brutes on SmackDown. He would suffer a broken neck, a C1 vertebrae break or fracture. And apparently he says it isn't ossifying quite yet. The current plan is to get more scans at the 1 year mark and see how it is progressing. But the great news is he feels tremendous and surgery is off the table. Now, a lot of people are very happy to hear that. Unfortunately, though, Dr. David Cho, who is his surgeon and his doctor, says the C1 vertebrae fracture is the most dangerous top cervical fracture is the most dangerous one you could possibly have and is associated with imminent death or complete paralysis. He will not need surgery. However, this type of fracture often heals incompletely, and this may be the end of his wrestling career. While Big E hopes it isn't, and we all hope it isn't as well, we're sending our prayers and our wishes to you, Big E, if you're listening. Shout out to the big man. Hopefully he can get better soon, get back in the ring, and take back that WWE Championship. Just saying. He just needs to take it careful. We've all seen what happened with Edge, of how he had to retire, so hopefully this isn't the end of Big E. More into happy news, as The Undertaker gives Cody Rhodes his opinion on his character. Undertaker says from his first trip in to where he is now, Cody has a much better grasp of who he is. It's great to be a part of the legacy of the business. Cody's dad is one of the greatest of all times. This is The Undertaker's words. It takes a minute to figure out who you are. No one can ever be Dusty, so it's amazing. He basically just keeps saying it's amazing to see what he can be. He says the American Nightmare is cool of how he merged Dusty and himself. Cody is his own man now. He believes in himself, and he believes that serving time away took a great amount of strength, and it really helped him in finding this character. For those of you who don't know, Cody Rhodes views The Undertaker as God, basically. Cody Rhodes even said that in an interview with, I believe it was Fightful.com. He said in an interview that he truly, during the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden, I believe it was 2008, that he views The Undertaker as God because of him actually taking a bump for him after Cody stiffed the hell out of him. He says he's all about giving back, so I'm sure these words from The Undertaker mean a lot to Cody Rhodes. And then finally, shout out to The Rock, who found out this weekend that he actually has 5 extra siblings. It turns out that before Rocky Johnson was married to The Rock's mother, he had 5 other children he did not know about. So for those of you asking, no, he did not have an affair. He did not cheat on his mother. He actually just had 5 more children that he did not know about with some ring rats, or that's what they would call women who were basically groupies from wrestling. They call them ring rats. If you ever watch Chris Jericho on The Talk is Jericho, he did a live show one time, and that's what he called them. He says, rats, we called groupies rats, and he actually talked about, I believe it was Ralphus. He talked about Ralphus with a rat. So for those of you who don't know, that's what it is. And he has 5 siblings. Congratulations to Rock. I can't imagine what it feels like. I'm sure there are mixed emotions, but at the same time, you're just happy you have an amazing new family. So shout out to Dwayne Johnson. Let's move on to the wrestling reviews of the week, starting off with SmackDown. SmackDown kicked off with something I love. It was all men on a ladder. I saw a post the other day, and I was so glad they brought it back. Remember when just civilized men would have chats on ladders before Money in the Bank? I love that, and I am so glad they brought it back. It makes me smile every time I see it. You had Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, Omos, Sheamus. Everyone who was in the match was on the ladder. It was awesome to see. Except for the one missing participant. You had Riddle, by the way. That's who I knew. I was forgetting someone I knew it had to be Riddle. And then you had The Miz, Ezekiel, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, saying they deserved the last spot in Money in the Bank. Adam Pearce came out and said there will be a battle royal. But I will give credit because a lot of people are talking shit. No one ever said what the battle royal was for. No one ever said the battle royal was, oh yeah, it's for the last Money in the Bank. No, he just said there will be a battle royal. He didn't say shit about that. He didn't say shit about it being the last spot. So I think a lot of people need to give credit to WWE there for a second. So after this, Happy Corbin will actually win the Battle Royal, and he would make the argument backstage that he won the Battle Royal, so he should get a spot in Money in the Bank. And Adam Pearce then said no, it would be a fatal four-way between Miz, Ezekiel, Madcap Moss, and Happy Corbin to decide the last person in Money in the Bank. After this, we got Natalya in a backstage interview saying she sees fear in Ronda's eyes, and Ronda is not 100% after the damage she inflicted on her with the sharpshooter, and she vowed to make Ronda tap out at Money in the Bank and become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. After this, we got the New Day calling out the Viking Raiders to the ring, saying they don't like this new attitude, and they used to be friends with the Viking Raiders. They hate this, and the Viking Raiders came out and just said, we're not here to make friends anymore. We're here to win. They attacked New Day, beat the shit out of them, which I love. I love this new Viking Raiders heel, not even heel, just tweener, just wanting to fight. That's what they missed. That's what they needed. That's what the Viking Raiders needed to be, so I love it. We then got Alexa Bliss and Asuka and Liv Morgan versus Lacey Evans, Raquel Rodriguez, and Shotzi in a 6-woman tag team match. This was actually funny to see because the commentary team completely nailed it. Pat McAfee and Michael Cole saying it's SmackDown versus Raw. And I actually really thought that was funny. I thought it would be really cool to see for them to do that, just non-Survivor Series itself, to maybe just do on a Raw or SmackDown to say, hey, like they used to have bragging rights, which I actually do miss now because I think about Survivor Series could have been anything. Survivor Series used to be just teams going at each other. You would make a team and you'd be like, hey, you guys are beating the crap out of my guys, so let's have a Survivor Series match and see how it goes. But now it has to be Raw versus SmackDown. It has to be the one time a year SmackDown and Raw goes head to head. So that's why I'll admit that I miss bragging rights a little bit. But so this made me smile when I saw it. Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan were able to pick up the win as Liv Morgan was actually able to pick up the win over Shotzi with an Oblivion. Congratulations to Liv Morgan. Congratulations later on. We then got Sonya Deville telling Adam Pearce she has filed a formal complaint over his actions last week. He admits she was wrong and he felt bad. And she goes, she was wrong too, and then slapped him. She goes, I was wrong for that, and then left the office. Adam Pearce looked angry. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So after this, we got Caleb Braxton holding an Ask Me Anything interview between the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, the Usos, versus the Street Profits. Now, I thought this would be the perfect time to announce a stipulation, because for those of you who don't remember, the match between Montez Ford and Jimmy Uso was supposed to be the match to choose a stipulation for Money in the Bank. Apparently that was scrapped. That never happened. It was just a regular match at Money in the Bank we never got a stipulation. I thought that was so stupid. Well, anyway. It didn't last long before they were both just flexing and ready to fight each other. So Money in the Bank looked fun, and this match would actually end up stealing the show at Money in the Bank. I'll get more into that later. We then got Max Dupre revealing his new models of Mace and Mansoor. For those of you who don't know, the talk was for a long time it was going to be Cesaro, but, well, it ain't Cesaro. He debuted their new names as well, as Mace is now Mace, and Mansoor is now Mansoor. So, very cool little gimmicks for them. They actually look like they're having fun. They really do look like they're actually enjoying this, so shout out to them. And it was revealed that next week they will reveal their 2022 tennis wear collection. So, let's see what happens there. After this, we got the Smackdown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey vowing to make Natalya tap out quickly this Saturday night. And finally, in the main event of SmackDown, we got Madcap Moss versus The Miz, Happy Corbin, and Ezekiel in a fatal four-way. Very good match, fun match to see. You would get Madcap Moss actually pinning Ezekiel to pick up the win and going on to Money in the Bank. Shout out to Madcap Moss and one of the biggest wins of his career. Let's move on to Money in the Bank, ladies and gentlemen, from Las Vegas, Nevada, the MGM Grand. It kicked off with the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match of Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, and Liv Morgan. And this match was awesome. Great way to kick off the night. Very fun. Everyone was doing moves off the ladder. People are criticizing Shotzi for being dangerous in the match. Liv Morgan and Natalya both come out and say, "What the hell are you talking about?" So it's awesome to see that people are actually backing each other up here. I love it. Liv Morgan would end up getting the briefcase. She would catch it in the briefcase. It would be amazing. She would actually push Becky Lynch off the ladder, and I saw it on Twitter. I forget who it was. Someone posted that it was awesome to see all the times Becky Lynch pushed Liv off the ladder when she was so close to the top, beating her for the Raw Women's Championship. To see Liv finally get her retribution and win Money in the Bank. We then got Bobby Lashley versus Theory for the United States Championship. This was a shocking match to say the least. Again, very good performance here. Theory really pulled out all the stops to show what kind of performer he is. Say anything you want about his in-ring promo style and everything and the selfies. He's an amazing worker. And Bobby Lashley was actually able to lock in the Hurt Lock. Theory tapped out. Bobby Lashley is your new United States champion. Shout out to Bobby Lashley. I did not see that one coming. We then get your Raw Women's Championship matches. Bianca Belair made quick haste of Carmella to retain her title like I thought she would. Although after the match, Bianca Belair was attacked by Carmella, and it seems like this feud is going to continue as Rhea Ripley is probably not medically cleared to return to the ring yet. I hope she gets back as soon as possible, but it looks like she isn't medically cleared just yet. You then got it might be the match of the night. I know for me saying that, a tag team match. Undisputed WWE tag team match of the Usos versus the Street Profits. Every time, every move in this match left me sitting the same way with my jaw on the fucking floor, dude. Every move, every fight, every punch. Montez Ford actually running through the ring, across the ring, and jumping over not just the ropes, but the ring post. Do you know how hard it is to catch that much air? And landing on both the Usos, screaming outside the ring, saying, "We're ready, we want the smoke." Amazing. And a great match. And finally, the Usos would roll up Montez Ford, and his shoulder would be up. It would lead to the ref making a 3 count, and Jimmy and Jay retain their titles as Montez Ford said, literally said, "Why is the fucking match stopped?" Because he was pissed. He was ready to go. He was ready for another at least 5 minutes, but apparently that wasn't the plan. it looks like we will get a rematch at SummerSlam, hopefully. After this, we got the Smackdown Women's Championship match of Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. Very good match. Ronda Rousey actually made Natalya tap out. No, she pinned her. I'm trying to remember if it was a pin or a tap out. I completely forget sometimes. But Ronda Rousey was able to retain her title in a hard-fought match versus Natalya. And as she's celebrating with her title, watch me. You get Liv Morgan's music hitting. She is cashing in right then and there. She cashes in, goes for a kick. Ronda rolls her up into a ankle lock. Oh, I was so scared that this was going to be it, and Liv was going to be the first woman to fail her cash-in. But no, Liv turns it around, rolls Ronda up. 1, 2, 3. New SmackDown Women's Champion, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is officially your WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Ronda Rousey hugged her, raised her arm after the match, and left the ring to the new champion. Awesome. Made me very happy. And finally, in your main event, we get the Men's Money in the Bank ladder match with Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, and Madcap Moss. But, right before the match should start in the Belkin ring, Adam Pearce comes out and announces there's a last-minute addition of Theory to this match. Theory came out, and again, all these guys showed out. Everything that could happen happened. I mean, people falling onto ladders. I thought Sami Zayn got injured one time, but thank God he's okay, apparently. You had Seth Rollins taking an RKO from Riddle off the top of the ladder. And then there was no one left but Austin Theory. He climbs the ladder, undoes the hook. Austin Theory is Mr. Money in the Bank. I didn't see that coming. He takes his selfies, poses, and after the show goes off the air, he apparently says, "My time is now. John Cena, your time is over." Again, if anyone saw that coming, I'll give you $1 million right now. I want proof. I want video before Money in the Bank saying I think Theory's going to somehow get his way into this match and win it. I want proof. But shout out to Theory, man. And for those of you saying WWE doesn't push new stars, really, Theory is your new Money in the Bank winner. Liv Morgan is now SmackDown Women's Champion. You have Bianca Belair, who's the Raw Women's Champion. You have the Street Profits going to hell and back in an amazing match with the Usos. Yeah, they don't push new stars anymore, do they? Let's move on to Raw. As Raw kicked off with Mr. Money in the Bank Theory and Lashley having a talk. Lashley saying how dominant he was and how dominant he will be as United States Champion. No one will take this title off him. Then Mr. Money in the Bank says that he will face Lashley for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. So we get a rematch at SummerSlam. I don't know if he's saying he's cashing in for the United States Championship. I don't know, but Theory is facing Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam for the United States Championship. By the way, I want to point out that this Raw took place in San Diego on the 4th of July. So the next match is very cool to see. You have the Mysterios in their hometown, Dominic and Ray, versus Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And people are getting pissed, by the way, of you now have Finn Balor wearing purple pants instead of his regular trunks. I don't mind that. I actually kind of like the pants look. I never really liked trunks look, so that's just me. But they would have a great match, and actually Damian Priest would try throwing a chair to Balor. You have Dominic come in, take the chair, try to take it away from him, but he would hit Dominic with the chair, and then Ray would look at him and just fall down. And since he hit Dominic, there was a chair sound. The referee turns around, sees Ray on the ground, and Finn with the chair. What do you think happens? Eddie. DQ win. Shout out to Eddie Guerrero, man. The Mysterios pick up a win. He then got The Miz trying talking about Logan Paul's challenge at SummerSlam. He then said, Logan Paul, accept my offer and we will be the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, but if you don't, I will be relentless and I will make sure you will be humbled. Cut to a backstage segment where Street Profits are hosting a 4th of July cookout. Alpha Academy tries to crash. Otis says this man's an American hero of Chad Gable. He is a former United States Olympian. And then he had Angelo Dawkins actually say, I didn't know this, that Montez Ford was actually a United States Marine. I had no clue that. So shout out to Montez Ford. It was then made official that there will be a hot dog eating contest held later on. We then got AJ Styles versus The Miz. Very good match. AJ Styles trying to get revenge on The Miz for running out on their match last time. AJ Styles picks up the win, but after the match, he is attacked by Ciampa. It was then seen that Judgment Day attacked the Mysterios backstage. So I guess this feud is continuing versus Judgment Day and Mysterios. Maybe they'll finally have Dominic turn on Ray, or maybe it'll be the other way around. I don't know, but it looks like we might be getting to the end of the Mysterios as a tag team. You then got a celebration for Liv Morgan as she celebrated cashing in and becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion. You then had Natalya saying the only reason she was champion is because she had Ronda Rousey in the sharpshooter, which damaged her. Carmella then interrupted and told them both to get back to SmackDown, leave the spotlight to her. Natalya and Carmella both attacked Liv, and then you had Bianca Belair come out, and which led to a 4-woman tag team match of Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan versus Carmella and Natalya. You had Liv Morgan pick up the win. Great match, fun to watch, but it feels like this night was just tag team matches, just a lot of tag team setups, and we'll get more of that actually after this. We then got Seth Rollins versus Ezekiel in a nice little match. Seth Rollins is an amazing performer. You got Ezekiel, who's also a great performer. Hard for them not to have a good match. Seth Rollins finishes off Ezekiel with a stop, but then Riddle comes out and takes out Rollins with an RKO after the match. It looks like this feud will continue on to SummerSlam. After this, you got the conclusion of the hot dog eating contest as Akira Tozawa won by eating 48 hot dogs. So shout out to Akira Tozawa, man. I will also point this out that on Twitter during this next match, I was reading it and it just said, he's ready to blow. He doesn't look good. Otis doesn't look good. So you had United States Champion Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus Mr. Money in the Bank Theory in the Alpha Academy. United States Champion Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits were able to pick up the win. And after the match, Otis threw up all the hot dogs he ate. Yeah, that was hard to watch, that one. So shout out to Twitter for getting that one completely right. You then got Intercontinental Champion Gunther versus R-Truth on Raw. That was shocking to see. I guess the brand split's over. Anyone could go wherever they want. So shout out to that. It was a squash match. Gunther destroyed R-Truth, but hey, shout out to R-Truth, man. The man is a company man who is not afraid to do whatever the company asks him to. I love R-Truth, man. Finally, in your main event, you got Becky Lynch versus Asuka in the no-holds-barred match. Amazing match. Great fight at the end of the night. Hopefully this is the end of this feud and it moves them both on to something bigger and better because I'm tired of just seeing them feud. I really want to see something else come out of this. And shout out to Becky Lynch, who came out and just had tables galore ready to go. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was awesome. She actually pulled out chairs and tables before the match even started, so that makes me smile. Tables, chairs, everything was used, trash cans, but Becky Lynch stands tall over Asuka, so shout out to Becky Lynch. Hopefully this is the end of that feud. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on to SummerSlam. Time to get ready for a great show. SummerSlam, biggest party of the summer. I'm excited for it. My friends are excited for it. Let's move on to it. This is 2017 SummerSlam coming from Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, with an attendance of 16,000 1,000. And let's talk about the kickoff shows. It kicked off with The Miz and the Miz Taraj versus the Hardys and Jason Jordan. This is when Jason Jordan was revealed as the son of Kurt Angle. He would be feuding with The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship before he would team up with Seth Rollins after Dean Ambrose would get hurt. Very fun little match. The Miz would actually pick up the win over Jason Jordan in an 11-minute, 20-second six-man tag on the pre-show. You would then get Neville versus Akira Tozawa for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Hey, did you remember Akira Tozawa was Cruiserweight Champion? Yeah, for like a day. He would win the Cruiserweight title from Neville on Raw, I believe, in a surprising match. He would then defend the title at SummerSlam against Neville in an 11-minute match, and Neville would pick up the win. This would actually lead to Enzo going to 205 Live and becoming Cruiserweight Champion at No Mercy, which would actually lead to Neville leaving WWE. So it's funny to look at this match and be like, oh, so this is what happened. After this, you would get the Usos, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso versus the New Day of Big E and Xavier Woods for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the pre-show. The pre-show! This shocked me. This should have been the first match of the main card at least. A 19-minute, 20-second tag team match. Very fun match to watch. The Usos and New Day having one of their classic feuds. Jimmy and Jey picking up the win to become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Amazing match, fun match, but why the hell was this on the pre-show? That pisses me off a little bit. We now move on to your main card as John Cena had a match with Baron Corbin. They would actually be feuding that because John Cena would cost Baron Corbin his Money in the Bank contract as he would try to cash in on Jinder Mahal after Jinder Mahal had a match with John Cena. Jinder Mahal was WWE Champion at the time, for those of you who forgot, and he would try to cash in. Unfortunately, it would not end well because John Cena would be on the ring apron. You would have Baron Corbin try to hit him, and that would cost Baron Corbin his Money in the Bank contract as Jinder Mahal would roll him up, 1, 2, 3. They would then go on to have basically a squash match of Baron Corbin getting his ass kicked by John Cena. Sucks to see, but hey, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I believe this was punishment for Baron Corbin, who insulted a Marine on Twitter. So, yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't know if it's true, but that's always been the rumor. After this, you get a singles match where WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, Naomi defending her championship against Natalya. Very fun match. Natalya would actually lock in the sharpshooter to end Naomi's championship run, which she would have since WrestleMania 33. Unfortunately, it would lead to actually bad merch sales for WWE as they were planning to make Naomi's Glow title a toy for little girls. So, but unfortunately, it would never happen because of this. There's always been talk behind the scenes that the reason she lost this match was because she actually said she had a huge plan for SummerSlam, a huge entrance plan, but it was nothing, and WWE had nothing planned for her, and this was kind of retribution for that. After this, we got Big Cass versus The Big Show in a singles match where Enzo Amore was suspended over the ring in a shark cage in a 10-minute match. I remember watching this with my friend and his girlfriend, and at the time, his girlfriend actually said, Enzo's going to get out of the cage. And I'm like, no, he is. And she's like, he's going to do something. He's going to do something. And sure enough, he was right. He had like baby oil or something, and he slid through the bars and tried to attack Big Cass. It didn't work. Big Cass ends up being the Big Show. Unfortunately, after this night, they would try to have a Brooklyn street fight. And Big Cass would end up tearing his ACL, I believe. This would be one of the last few matches Big Cass would ever have in WWE. Enzo would then go on to Cruiserweight Championship. Big Cass would be injured, but would later return and have a feud with Daniel Bryan, and would then be released due to his alcoholism. It's good to see Big Cass and Enzo having success on the independent circuit. And it's amazing to see Big Cass fighting his way against his demons now. Awesome to see that for Big Cass. It makes me happy. We then got Randy Orton versus Rusev for a singles match. Very quick match. Rusev would come out. He would pose. You would have Randy Orton's music hit. Rusev would be waiting. Randy Orton would hit an RKO from out of nowhere. Bell rings. Randy Orton doesn't even take off his hoodie. He just slides over Rusev, covers him. 1, 2, 3. 10-second match. Randy Orton beats Rusev that quickly. Rusev would get his win back, by the way, after this. He would get his win back, I believe, at Clash of Champions. We would then get Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship in a 13-minute match. Very fun match. A little heat going into this match is that apparently Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks do not like each other at all. They actually do have a real-life feud going on outside this, which is weird to see because anyone you talk to, Alexa Bliss is always viewed as a very just fun-loving girl, so it's very weird to see this. Sasha Banks would pick up the win. She would lock in the bank statement and would actually go on to lose the title at Raw the next night. After she would get the singles match between Finn Balor, the Demon Finn Balor, and Bray Wyatt. It's funny because a couple years later in 2019, you would get the same match, but it would be the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus regular Finn Balor. So that actually makes me smile. Finn Balor would be able to pick up the win over Bray Wyatt in a very good match. This was supposed to lead to a match at TLC, but unfortunately Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns would end up getting the mumps, I believe, and that would never lead to a match of Sister Abigail versus the Demon. So after this, you get a tag team match for WWE Raw Tag Team Championships of the newly reunited Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins would pick up the win in a very good 18-minute match. It was cool to see this match. This is one of the reasons why I chose this pay-per-view, because it would actually lead to the reuniting of the Shield. The first run where they were supposed to have a match at TLC, which unfortunately would never happen as Roman Reigns would fall with an illness and they would actually replace him with Kurt Angle. They would get their full reuniting as the Shield at Survivor Series, but unfortunately after that, Dean Ambrose would be injured and Seth Rollins would go on the team with Jason Jordan. We would never really get the full reuniting of the Shield. They would break up soon after once Dean Ambrose came back, and it just never fully happened. You would have Roman Reigns go off to battle cancer, and by the time Roman Reigns was back, Dean Ambrose announced he had leukemia. Dean Ambrose announced he had not re-signed with WWE, and would go off and beat Jon Moxley in the AEW. It sucks to see that, but this is just very cool to me because I remember even as before I was a wrestling fan, I knew the Shield. I knew who the Shield were. The Shield were an awesome tag team, an awesome force to be reckoned with. So it was cool to see the rebirth of the Shield, just even if it was for just a few minutes. After this, you get a singles match for a WWE United States Championship of AJ Styles, your champion, versus Kevin Owens, with special guest referee Shane McMahon. This would lead to a Hell in a Cell match between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon, by the way. Also, a little Wrestling Made Simple fact, during this run as WWE United States Championship, I would actually meet AJ Styles, and we would take a picture, and I would actually be holding the real United States Championship. That's why that design is still my favorite design of a title ever, and I actually have the replica of the title. He was an amazing guy. I told him, hey, by the way, that Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania was one of the best matches I've ever seen, and he goes, wow, thank you. That's a very very cool thing to say because it puts me up there with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker and that. So I'm like, hey, just let you know, it was a great match. And I think it was one of the best matches at WrestleMania. So he was a very cool guy. I just got to say that. AJ Styles would retain after Kevin Owens kind of attacked Shane McMahon. He would kind of make a fast count on a 1, 2, 3 on a roll-up. AJ Styles would retain. He would go on to feud with others. I believe Rusev and Randy Orton at the time. And after he would lose the United States Championship, he would then go into a WWE Championship program. So he would win the championship from Jinder Mahal, leading to our next match, an 11-minute, 25-second WWE Championship match in which Jinder Mahal successfully defended against Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura was hot at this time. I mean, he was the hottest babyface on SmackDown. He was ready to go. They were ready to push him. And then he had this feud with Jinder Mahal, man. This feud sucked. It was terrible. Apparently, the talk was that you were actually supposed to have Shinsuke win this match and Baron Corbin cash in, and then Shinsuke chase Baron Corbin for the title. But unfortunately, it never happened due to Baron Corbin's Twitter antics. It's a talk. I don't know if it's true. I'm just giving you both sides of the argument. Jinder Mahal would pick up the win and then would actually go on to lose the title later on before Survivor Series to AJ Styles. AJ Styles would then go on to have an amazing match with Brock Lesnar. And speaking of Brock Lesnar, the next match is your main event, a 20-minute fatal four-way of Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe. God, can you imagine if Samoa Joe would win this match? Like, I remember sitting there going, if it isn't Brock Lesnar, I'm buying us all t-shirts for whoever wins this match. And sure enough, Brock Lesnar wins. Because for a second I thought it was Braun Strowman. I had the order ready to go. I was buying us all Braun Strowman t-shirts to celebrate the new monster being champion. This will actually lead to a very good No Mercy match between Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. You would have Samoa Joe having a great match with Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire before this. And Roman Reigns would then go on to main event WrestleMania versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar would pick up the win here. And it would have been an awesome match. By the way, had Brock Lesnar lost this match, Paul Heyman made it very clear they would have left WWE. Very good SummerSlam, very fun SummerSlam to watch. You know, I look at it, I'm like, there really isn't a bad match on this card. Looking back at it now, it's still fun to watch. So if you're looking for a fun match, I recommend this. Let's move on to your WWE Drink of the Week. It's SummerSlam. You know, it's summer. What do you think of summer? Margaritas. So here's a really cool margarita that I saw, the birthday cake margarita. If you have a birthday in summer, here's a good one for you. 2 ounces of tequila, 1 ounce triple sec, 1 ounce white chocolate liqueur, a dash of yellow cake mix, and whipped cream. So here's what you do. You rim the edge of the glass with sprinkles and set that aside. You fill a glass with ice, triple sec, tequila, the white chocolate liqueur, and the cake mix. You shake well to mix, and then you add it to the rimmed glass. Top it with whipped cream, maybe a candle if it is your birthday, and just enjoy. You know, it's a good sweet drink to have. But make sure you drink responsibly. Do not overindulge. Do not drink and drive. And do not drink if you are under 21 in the United States. And that is your drink of the week. Let's move on to your final segment this week, the Battle Droid of the Week. Again, I apologize for not bringing the Book of Rules. This week's Battle Droid of the Week was very easy to me. It was the only down segment really in Money in the Bank. And I hate to give it to her because I loved her gimmick. But Alexa Bliss, you are the Battle Droid of the Week for that stupid Greg Card commercial. The crowd was opening booing it. Sean Ross Sapp, everyone who was at WWE Money in the Bank admitted, like, hey, this is the one that killed the crowd for a few minutes. If you haven't seen it, you don't need to go see it. Oh, and by the way, I also forgot, Edge is coming back. For those of you who don't know, there was a segment in Money in the Bank. I know I forgot something. For those of you who don't know, Edge, there was like a segment that looked like Bray Wyatt was coming back, but Fightful has confirmed that it is Edge. So let's not get our hopes up. Anyway, back to this commercial. It was a terrible commercial. Basically, Lily went on a spending spree with the WWE, I believe, Bank of America card or whatever it is, and it just was terrible. So bad job by WWE here to use Alexa Bliss in that situation. So WWE, Alexa Bliss, you are the Battle Droid of the Week for that commercial. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I have been the big guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Let's get on the road to SummerSlam. Biggest party of the summer. I'm excited. SummerSlam looks like it's going to be a great card shaping up, even with all the injuries to everyone. I'm excited. Thank you very much. Have a great day.